I think you'll, again, see the men and women that are around me right now from the Florida National Guard, Florida State Guard, Florida Highway Patrol, Florida Game and Fish Commission will, again, be out here helping you recover in the coming days. Some things that I want to talk about as we start to get into the response, post-disaster landfall response, and then ultimately recovery mode is we drove around today. First thing we noticed was the high water marks. You're going to want to take a photograph of that high water mark, both on the outside of your home and on the inside of your home. You're going to need that for your national flood insurance claim. You're going to need that for any other type of insurance claim. You're certainly going to need that for your own personal documentation. The next thing you're going to want to do, and we've already seen it, some of that furniture, some of those items are starting to come to the road's edge. Number one, do not put it in the middle of the roadway. But we would like you, for ease later with the debris companies, go ahead and start separating that. Separate it into sheetrock and construction materials, separate it into furniture, separate it into white goods. If you have appliances and things of that nature, make sure you separate that out. The next thing that you're going to want to do is notify your insurance company. I know the question is going to come up, where's FEMA? I want to let you know that the FEMA administrator will be here later today. We are already starting to write for the governor's signature, something referred to as an expedited major disaster declaration request. We are back in Tallahassee writing that up today based on the data that is coming in, based on site surveys that we're doing like we're doing right now. We will put that up in a request through FEMA Region 4 to headquarters and ultimately to the White House, requesting an expedited major disaster declaration for all categories of work. That's on the public sector side and the government side. And then we'll ask for individual assistance with numerous categories for homeowners. So please stand by. We're going to get that paperwork up. Hopefully we'll get a very, very quick response from FEMA. I know the FEMA administrator is looking for that paperwork already. Again, I want to echo what the governor said today about the National Hurricane Center. They did an excellent job on getting this forecast. That has never been done in the history of the National Weather Service, the National Hurricane Center. If you go back to see what was done for Hurricane Michael, which was a very similar path, they predicted a tropical storm landfall, and we all know that that was a Category 5 on a potential tropical cyclone. In this case, they were very bold. They made a move. They said it's going to be a major. When all the models were kind of varying back and forth between 1 and 4, they went ahead and made a decision. I applaud that decision along with the governor. So thank you guys down at the National Hurricane Center, the FEMA Hurricane Liaison team. Really appreciate you guys. National Weather Service, local branch offices, really appreciate that. So again, in recap, we're here for you. We're going to continue to be here for you. Go ahead and start taking those photographs. There's going to be bureaucratic things that happen in the future. When you start to apply for individual assistance, they're going to want receipts. They're going to want photographs. Make sure you do that now. All right. The maximum award for a FEMA grant is usually around $70,000, give or take. The average payout in Florida usually is around $5,000 to $7,000. That is not going to make you whole. I want to set that expectation right now. This is not going to make you whole. All right. But again, through the governor's leadership, we have volunteer organizations that are ready to come in here and help you do what we call muck and gut. They come into your home with your permission. They rip the sheetrock out. They get that out of your home. They take it to the street. They will start helping you air out your 2x4s, your studs, and then try to help make you as close to whole as they can. But those nonprofits will be coming in. Again, go to the Hope Florida website, start filling out the necessary paperwork. We'll be announcing more information about crisis cleanup in the coming future. We have worked with crisis cleanup in Hurricane Ian, Hurricane Idalia, Hurricane Debbie. They've been a great partner. We'll look forward to putting out more information on that later today. Again, Governor, thank you so much. Melissa, thank you for our calls last week, getting folks ready to go for this. And again, General Haas, thank you so much for your support as well.
Yeah, and so Kevin mentioned on the muck and gut, obviously homeowners here are very savvy. They know how to take care of their homes, but to the extent people need assistance with that, because we were driving around the neighborhoods here and you saw the water lines on the house. It was in some instances a couple feet, 3 feet, even right up to the doorknob on a lot of the residences that we saw just in this little stretch of Barrier Island here in Pinellas County. We have groups, I know they've already talked to like Operation Rubicon that goes in and helps with that. And so that's helpful, I think, for elderly, for people that may not be in a position where they're going to be wanting to do work on their house. We're also going to be discussing turning on our home repair program that we started a few years ago, where we work and negotiate with Lowe's and Home Depot, and we get a good price for all the supplies and tools, and then these nonprofits go in and utilize that to help with the muck and guts. But yeah, you're definitely going to need to see that here. I mean, the bad news is this was some significant storm surge. The good news is a lot of those homes that had the water up 2-3 feet, that you can fix that. And that's probably not going to be the case in Taylor County with what happened to some of those places where they were just completely destroyed. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of those groups come on. And then we'll also look to see what other types of housing missions that there can be. And there may be some other things that we can do. When we see these storms coming, we always assume we're going to get hit if it's possible for us to get hit. And so we take a lot of preparations by the state. We have the assets and all that, and that's great, but that would not ultimately be enough if we didn't have strong partners throughout the state of Florida. And so when we have these storms, everyone is in agreement that power restoration as rapidly as possible really helps with the response and the recovery. You've seen in other parts of the country just recently, people weeks without power for like a Category 1 storm. Here in Florida, we've worked really hard to not have that happen, and that has happened in the past, even here many years ago. So we've had great partners with FPL, TECO, and then Duke. And I think you saw Duke had amassed a lot of linemen in different parts of the state. I think they had Tropicana Field, massive numbers of folks. And then they had at the Villages, they had a big area there too. So we've worked closely with Melissa Satius, who's the head of Duke Energy here in Florida. I want to thank her for really leaning in and taking these storms very seriously and really wanting to provide really strong service for their customers, because you just take it for granted. You turn the light on, you get the charge. But when times like this happen and you can get power on quickly, that really is something that I think a lot of people appreciate. So, Melissa, why don't you come up and update on your efforts?
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to start first by thanking Governor DeSantis for his leadership, and also the leadership that Kevin Guthrie's organization with emergency management displays day in, day out, 365 days a year. As Kevin indicated, I think we started talking last weekend about this particular storm development. So I want to give you a quick update on where we are in Pinellas County. So as of 12:30 this afternoon, we had restored 99,000 customers here in Pinellas County. We still have a little around 200,000 customers that are without power, but that number is decreasing as we speak. We are doing things concurrently. We're continuing to restore and perform damage assessment, especially in those hardest hit areas that sustained flooding, such as parts of St. Petersburg and certainly here on the barrier islands. And there are certain components and elements that are left behind by the flooding that deter some of our restoration. But we work very closely with the county EOC to ensure that we can get onto the island, that we can begin damage assessment, and we can restore power as soon as possible and help our customers get back to their lives. And later this evening, we will issue an estimated time of restoration for our customers in Pinellas County. People want to know when the power is going to be restored. We know how important that is to every resident. So we will issue that this evening sometime around 6 to 7 p.m., an estimated time of restoration for Pinellas County. Duke Energy has the privilege of serving other parts of the state, including places like Taylor County that sustained, along with many of our other Big Bend counties, sustained the brunt of this storm. We are going through the same process there, damage assessment, restoration, and working with those county officials and also, of course, with the state. What we ask is that our customers continue to be diligent about their safety. Stay away from any downed power line. Always assume that it's energized. Debris in the road, don't try to remove it yourself. There could be all kinds of hidden dangers in there, and we want you all to remain safe. You have our commitment that we are working 24 hours a day to restore service, but in many places we will have to rebuild service as well. So thank you for your time today. Thank you for your patience. We very much appreciate every single one of our customers and, of course, the leadership from the state of Florida. Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks. And that's when these storms happen, if power lines are down and there's no debris, that's relatively easy for them to go in, fix the pole, fix the line, and reconnect. Sometimes you'll have to rebuild the underlying infrastructure when the storm is significant, and that's more challenging. And then there's other times, and I don't know as much about here because I don't think we suffered as much wind damage in this part of the state as we did in the Big Bend, but if there's debris in the way of being able to you got to clear the debris, and that can be hazardous. So there's a lot that goes into it, but we appreciate what the utilities are doing, from the private companies like Duke and FPL and TECO to the municipal cooperatives, the rural cooperatives, all these cooperatives. Everybody has been taking this very seriously, and there's a lot of people, tens of thousands of people are working very hard at reconnecting everybody with the power. Okay, with that, I'll take some questions. Yes, ma'am.
What would you say to these residents who've seen the damage, and what's been the message to them? A lot of the beaches look like war zones here. People walking through the streets just with their clothes on their back, all that kind of thing. What's your message to them?
Well, we understand the tragedy when you have a storm of this magnitude, when you lose a property or have your home significantly damaged, when you lose maybe some keepsakes, family photos, all these things. That's more than just a dollar value. I mean, that's something that's really, really significant in people's lives, and it's tough. And we understand that. We also understand that this is a resilient state. This is a resilient part of our state, and we're going to bounce back. We're going to get people back on their feet. You know, Kevin and his team are working here with the folks in the local community. You know, there's a lot that's going to be done. There's a lot that's going to be done to help people who are in need right now. So I would just say, hang in there. It's not easy to go through this. It's not always going to be easy in the immediate future, but there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel.
Governor, is it hard or a little bit more difficult being as your home county, like where you grew up, coming back and seeing some of the destruction?
You know, it's interesting. I actually thought back. I mean, in the 80s, I remember, you know, I'm growing up in Dunedin, and we were paddling in the streets. We thought that was like, as kids, you know, we're out there doing that. And I didn't think much about it at the time because I was very young. But the reality is this part of the state is very low-lying, very susceptible to these types of water intrusions. And so you have a storm that didn't come within 100 miles of the coast and yet churned up this really, really significant storm surge. And so, yes, I have a point of reference here. These are really great communities. I mean, I'll tell you, I always tell people that if you look around the country and you did the top 5 or 6 beaches in America, you'd have several of them right here in Pinellas County would make the top 5 or 6, no question. It's a beautiful part of the country. It's a beautiful part of America. And yeah, it's difficult to see things that are, you know, not tidy. You see trash. You see the effects of major storm surge. But I also understand this is a great place to be. We're going to get back up, and this place is going to do well. It just is, because it's there's very few places around like it anywhere in the country. Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if you heard, but 25% of residents in the city of St. Petersburg can't flush their toilets or take showers and run anything down the drain. Some of those residents were under mandatory evacuation, but a lot of those residents who live there weren't under mandatory evacuation.
Right.
Do you think the city should be more proactive and at least letting residents know if there's a 50-50 chance that the sewage plant would be shut down, like that's what happened?
So what you're going to see from me is, I'm not going to be out wagging my finger and second guessing folks in the aftermath of the past. If there is a request from the state to offer some assistance, Kevin and his team will do that. And we have helped. We helped in Lee County. They had similar things after Hurricane Ian. Maybe you don't need it, that's fine. But if you do, talk to Kevin, talk to his team. There's different things that potentially we can do to be helpful in those situations. But yes, I am aware of the problem, and St. Pete's not the only place in Florida that is having issue with some of the sewage. And so again, any of these municipalities or counties, if you need some support, I guess we've got, Kevin, we've got the National Guard unit that we've used before to help. So we've got some assets, but ultimately, I think we just got to try to get through this stuff together. I'm not going to sit there and wag my finger at anybody for making whatever decisions that they made in their municipality or their county. We got to move forward together as Floridians to be able to get people back on their feet and get these communities thriving again. All right, we are going to be en route to the Big Bend. We're going to survey damage likely, and I guess we're going to go to Cedar Key. I think we're also going to go as close as we can get, maybe to where the storm went. Certainly we'll end up in Perry at a minimum in Taylor County. And then we're going to be back in the Tampa Bay region tomorrow, most likely, survey additional damage and meet whatever needs that we can. But before I leave, I just want to say there were a lot of people working in the dead of night to answer calls, distress calls, in this community and in other communities around the state. And I think we all should be very thankful to have folks, whether it's a police officer, sheriff's deputy, whether it's National Guard, whether it's Florida Fish and Wildlife, Florida Highway Patrol, all these folks who, they've got families they've got to worry about at home too. And yet they're out there putting themselves at risk to be able to effectuate, at a minimum, hundreds of successful rescue missions. So on behalf of the state of Florida, thank you for what you did. I know you're continuing to do that. I know there's more work to be done in that regard, but you really made a difference. Thanks.